Happy Thursday, rock lovers! Welcome to tonight's Cat and Chat, a live and interactive lapidary learning session. My name is Giovanni Morales from Highland Park's marketing team, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we will be talking about the rest of the step in sphere making process. After teaching us how to make spheres preforms using the Highland Park core drill last Tuesday, Seek will be showing us how to grind and polish spheres using the Highland Park high-speed sphere machine and low-speed sphere machine. This is your chance to ask your technical questions, get answer to specific challenges that you are encountering in your shop, and even share your own tips and tricks. Tonight is also an extra special night because we will be having our first CAV contest. This is a great opportunity to see what your fellow lapidary artists are making and vote for your favorites. We will be discussing the voting mechanics later and revealing the exciting prizes that awaits the winner. And if you're new here at our Cat and Chat, or if you just want to say hi, please put something on the chat so we can say hello back. Hi, Jax, Kim, hello, Kelly, Donald, Susan, Catherine. Hello and welcome. We would also like to invite everyone watching us online to join us here in our VIP Zoom room by signing up using the link you are seeing. So before we begin, here's a short teaser of what of the show we have in store for you tonight. We're super excited to get this Cat and Chat started, so let's dive right into some guidelines. There are two ways to ask your questions. First, you can put your question on the chat. The chat box can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Make sure to send your chat to everyone so we can see them. A member of HPL team will read your question to Seek out loud. For those who are watching on Facebook, you can enter your question on the comment section and someone from HPL team will read your question to Seek. Second, to make this Cat and Chat more interactive, you can Seek your question yourself. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a button that says Reactions. Click on that button and you will see an option that says Raise Hand. When you raise your hand, a member of HPL team will unmute you and you will receive a prompt saying that the host is asking you to unmute. Click on unmute and you will be able to seek your question. After you ask your question, we will lower your hand and mute you so the next person in line can ask his or her question. If you have new question later during the show, you can raise your hand again. We will be alternating unmuting people and asking questions from the chat so everyone gets a fair chance for their question to be answered. And for the Wheel of Fortune giveaway, if the initial winner isn't here, we will respin the wheel until a winner who is present in the room is selected. So now, get ready to learn cutting and polishing techniques, ask your technical question, and have tons of fun. To officially start tonight, Cat and Chat, please welcome Mineral Maestro, Seek the Rimple.
Good evening, everybody. I'm still a little under the weather, but super excited to make a sphere. I made a preform today out of some dragon blood, so I'm excited to see how that turns out. Preform started pretty good, but it's just me tonight, so I think we can jump right in. Why don't we pin up the other camera and I'll walk over to the CAD machine. So normally I'd like to do this on a much bigger wheel, like an 8-inch wheel, but tonight I have the CB6 set up. So here is the preform, about as perfect as you can get it on a core drill. All right, this is really good actually. I'm just gonna take it and grind each one of these nubs so we're smooth. And one of the ways I check it is I take a sphere cup and run it around it to see if there's anywhere it's going to catch. Um, you can see clearly we've got some bigger ones here that we've got to work down. The big thing is not to grind in too far in one spot, otherwise it makes your sphere much smaller. We did a good job getting a nice preform, so now we want to keep it as big as we can. So we're just going to focus on these nubs, and I'm going to roll it over, move to the next one, roll it over, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. So let's get started with that. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. You want as much water as possible when you're doing something like just a lot of grinding like this. You can see it goes pretty quick when we're this round already on the preform. So I'm just rounding those off on the top there, and I'll just keep working the way around. Shouldn't take but more than a couple minutes to get this done. And the better you do your preform, the less grinding you'll have to do. So it's incentive to do a good job on your preform. And you want to be careful, like right there, I started to grind in a little too much. So you got to check that because you'll see if I grind in too far when we go to do our preform. Once we get round, we may have to grind it in more with the sphere cups if I grind too far on the grinding wheel. So you got to really be careful not to grind too far. All right, so we're still a little high on that one, but you can see now we're pretty round on that preform. Couple little flat spots over there. I'll just quickly roll past. That looks pretty good. So now we'll flip it over and do the other side here. And if you've ever made a sphere before, you can see that this goes so much faster if you get a really good preform, because often this is a very long step. If you're doing it with a saw, this is one of your longest steps, is grinding it round. All right, that's pretty good for a sphere preform. I'm just filling it for any big flat spots. I don't like that spot right there, so I'll just take it give it a quick roll over. The big problem with leaving big ridges or big spots is that the sphere cups, if they catch as they're rolling around, it can throw your ball out of the sphere machine. But let's go over to the sphere machine next, and I'll show you a couple ways to prevent that. I really do love having the new shop set up. It's so awesome in here. So I'll stick you guys over here so that you can see what I'm doing. And that was a core that we cut with the 3-inch core bit. And so that's going to give us about a 2.5-inch finished sphere. These are 1 3/4 inch cups, which are about the smallest you can use for a 2-inch sphere. That's generally what people do is they try to push the limits. So I thought I'll show you guys with pushing the limits. A quick way to get this started is just to get these threaded on. And instead of threading the whole thing on, you just hold the cup, turn the machine on. Ooh, something caught on the threads there. I think we got a little paint on the threads. We'll get those on. That is definitely the fastest way to do that. Well, that one's not wanting to go on. I think there's a little too much paint inside the threads on these. All right. And then before I get ready to start up the sphere machine, I'm going to stick my preform in and we're going to level the heads. Now, if you look at the sphere machine right now, you can see that the heads are all pointed up at this up angle. We want them as level as possible. So I get one of these little angle gauges and I stick them on top here and look at it. Right now we're sitting at 8.7 degrees up. I want to get these as close to flat as possible and evenly spaced. So I'm just going to one at a time bring the cups out. And this is the same process for using the high-speed sphere machine or the low-speed sphere machine, where I'm bringing the heads to perfect level before I start grinding. If I had started this with those cups facing up that high, we would definitely throw the preform out and break our cups, which is not very much fun. So that is 0. Okay, it's a 1/4 of a degree off. So I'll bring that in until it's perfect. All right, that is perfectly level on this head. And it doesn't really need to be perfect. That's just what I'm going for to get started, because the closer to perfect we are, the easier it is to be to grind these spheres in, and the easier it'll be to control a rotation. But don't stress if you can't get them exactly perfect. All right, so now that we got those leveled, we don't have the same spacing on all of these, especially because this is not perfectly round yet. So before I get ready to start my machine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the head back. You can see I'll mute that thing. You can see when I tilt the head back that this cup is not actually making contact. What should happen is when I pull the cup back, the bottom edge of the cup should lift the sphere a little bit. So, like, you can see that one's not really holding it in, which means that this one over here has the most pressure on it. So see how when I lift this one up, it's lifting the sphere a little bit. I'm going to adjust all of these till all of them will lift the sphere just a little bit. So what I do is I tilt the head back and I bring it in until that bottom edge touches. Get them all adjusted. This is probably the hardest part about grinding in a preform, because most people just stick it in there and start it. And most people, the first time they do that, will break all the segments off their cups, including myself. The first time I did this, I was impatient and I just started it and broke all 3 cups. So I'm just adjusting a little bit at a time to get them perfect, and I think we're just about there.
Can you hear me, Zeke, for questions?
Yes.
All right. Ed is asking, do you have to level the cups every time or just the first time you set the sphere machine up? In other words, is leveling different when you make different size spheres?
It's pretty close. There's not a lot of adjustment between doing it, but every time I put a different size cup on, I do adjust it. It's not a huge adjustment, and once you're really close, then it's very minor adjustments. Like if I was to put 3-inch cups on here and a 3.5-inch sphere, I'd probably have to adjust them a little bit, but not a ton. All right. And then I prefer a little bit more tension, but I think that's about as tight as John would go on these. And I also like to move the sphere a little bit because we're not round yet. So that is pretty good. Let me hook up our pump. We'll need a decent amount of water. Now, the one thing I am going to do before I put I start this sphere is I'm going to rest my foot on the pedal underneath so that if the sphere does come loose, I can lift the heads up and I'm already right there. So I'm just going to leave my foot on the pedal there when I get started. And now I can adjust to get perfect X rotation. I want the sphere to move in an X pattern. And I don't need to rest my foot there the whole time just to get it started. But I want the sphere to be moving in an X pattern to get it perfectly round. You can see this is pretty fast when our preforms are this good. One of the ways I can tell it's not perfectly round yet is by the way the sphere heads pop back. It means they're hitting a flat spot. Once we get it perfectly round, the sphere heads will stop popping back. It'll run really smooth. And you notice I just got it wet to start and I'm not flooding it. We're just dripping on it. The mud actually helps keep the bits sharp. And as I mentioned, these are about the smallest preforms or cups that I'd use for this size. We're a little bit on the small size here. We kind of max these out. If the preform was not this smooth already, you'd have never been able to use the this size of cups. It would have just thrown it out and would have had to use bigger cups. Yeah, all 3 cups are spinning clockwise.
Alicia is asking, how do you know which size cups to use?
Well, ideally, you want the cups to be almost touching on the edges. In fact, I almost always do it so that the cups look like they're about to touch. But if you don't know what size to use, we have a chart on the website that tells you which size to use. Yes, this is the high-speed sphere machine. We already ground our preform down, and we're just getting it rounded out in the sphere machine. The other thing that using bigger cups will do is actually make it so that you have a perfectly round ball. It's harder to get perfectly round with smaller cups. One thing you really don't want to happen is the sphere to spin in just one direction, because that'll make it so that the sphere cups dig a hole like a core bit into your sphere. So you want to make sure it's still moving in that X pattern. What's the price of what, Micah? What are you asking the price of? We're cutting a piece of dragon blood. No, the preform was done on the cord drill. So if you watch Tuesday night, I used the exact same process. I just did this one today since we sold that preform. The other reason that bigger cups are nicer is they actually, ooh, you can see we still got that one to pop out. That's definitely the challenge with using these smaller cups. Well, now that it's out, let's check it. We still got a couple flat spots on here. Darwin, can you pull up the price of the high-speed sphere machine? We still have a couple flat spots on here, but we're getting really close to round. So now that we're a little bit more round, I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to check to make sure all our cups are making good contact. And I will use the low-speed sphere machine tonight as well, so you guys can see that. But this is so much faster in the high-speed sphere machine that I wanted to start with this. And this machine will do all the way down to like 5/8 inch marbles, I believe, all the way up to 6 inch. The reason I'm using smaller cups is because a lot of our customers tend to buy cups that are too small. So I'm just using the smaller cups because the cups add up if you buy a lot of different sizes. So people want to be able to maximize um, what you can get out of them. So I just wanted to show using those. I think we don't have quite enough tension on this because it keeps popping out. Show that you can use it. Let me grab another bungee because I don't think we got enough tension on this head back here. I think this bungee cord is too short. Because if I was using bigger cups, which is what I would normally do, I just grabbed one set because we're just still getting the shop set up. You would not have the problem of them popping out. All right. Now I'm gonna bring our heads back just a little bit because we took the tension up. And now we're actually changed the distance between each sphere head as well because we've now ground it smaller. Yeah, probably the first step is definitely where you're gonna have the most adjusting.
Gregory is asking, when would you use milk?
Milk and diamond would be the very final polish. Yeah, that's much better. I think we just didn't have enough tension before. Right now, we're just dripping water on there. Milk is the perfect suspending agent for diamond. If you are going to use diamond as your final polish, like I'll give you an example. If you're going to use something like Cherry Creek, the final polish is best done with diamond. And so we do is we put diamond powder in milk, and that's what we put on the sphere to polish it. And because the milk is really easy to wash off. Whole fat, regular milk. Uh, yeah, the 20 minutes is kind of a long time for a lot of materials, Richard. But softer material is going to grind faster, so you don't need to run it nearly as long. So on the milk, if I was using milk, I would use one of the cups like this that doesn't have any segments on it. And this has leather on there, but underneath is canvas. If you take the leather off and use the canvas, you'd put the milk on the canvas. We're just about there. And that price, just so you guys are aware, is per cup. The one that Darwin just put in the chat there. So you need 24 of each size to make a full set. All right, let's take a look at our preform here. And now what I'm going to be doing, and I should dry this off and look at it, but what I'm doing is I'm looking for any flat spots that we still need to grind out. So we have a pretty much perfect ball now. I'm just filling it for any flat spots. Not worried about scratches at the moment. I'm just making sure we don't have any flat spots left or grind marks from when we were using the so that grit we just used is the 60 to 80 grit cups. So that's pretty rough right there. All right. That looks pretty good. I usually just stick the spheres in the top there. Now this is pretty tight, so I'm going to loosen this. We'll take these cups off and do the next grit is going to be 220 grit. I also like to put a little anti-seize on the threads of the sphere machine. should definitely make these come off a little easier. These ones have a lot of paint in the threads, I think, because these are about the stiffest ones I've had. No worries, Richard. On the it depends on the step. On the longest step is going to be your 400 polish, which that one would probably take about 20 minutes. Most of the other steps are going to be maybe 10, 15 minutes. On the high-speed sphere machine, I'm just going to walk over and grab a wrench. On the high-speed sphere machine, most of your steps, you're 2 to 3 minutes. In fact, a lot of them I run with a stopwatch instead of actually just looking at the sphere, because when you're doing a bunch of them, you're pretty much just doing it by time and not. I mean, you can check the sphere obviously, but you can get to the point where you don't need to. You can just do it by time. But honestly, like 20 minutes, you're probably wasting a lot of your cup at that amount of time. Yeah, Gregory. So if I was doing production, I would have a bucket here with like 50 sphere preforms in it, and I do all of them. Man, that one is real tight. So usually when I had my own shop, I was doing 30 to 50 spheres at a time. That was kind of the batch that I found reasonable to do each step. Yeah, we'll have to take a tap and run it through the threads on there. I got a little paint and I'm making them stiff to get on and off. All right, so next we're going to use our blue cups, which are the 220 grit. And sometimes they say on there, you can see like that one says down in the cup. But we have a chart on the website that tells you which color coordinates to which grit as well if you forget. I do not like these bungee cords. They're definitely not the length that I was using before. John always uses 2 bungee cords. I was used to using 3, but he told me I was putting too much tension on the sphere machines, that I
Lee
only needed
Murray,
2.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Lee, Lee Murray is asking, sometimes I find holes or geodes in a sphere. The cups can get stuck. Can you fill the hole with material, then remove the material when complete?
So we don't fill the cups, or we don't fill the vugs. What we do is we solder on more segments onto our sphere cups when we do that. It adds a little grind time to it, but we found that soldering more segments on works best. Ideally, you want just enough pressure to hold it in there, not so much pressure. Like right now, I can feel that I'm creating too much heat with the amount of pressure I'm using.
And then David was asking, what do you think about using springs?
Uh, Bungee cords are pretty, like, I know people do. I like just using bungee cords. I used to keep a lot more, like when I had my shop, I had a whole rack of different size bungee cords because I used them for all kinds of different machines. And that worked really good. These ones, I just don't like this particular length. So let's get that
Sharon
wet and then
is,
go
sorry,
ahead.
Sharon is confirming what size cups these are.
These are 1 3/4 inch.
And then Richard is asking, what do you use for soldering machine?
I just use a torch. like for silversmithing. So what I'm looking at right now, when I'm looking and I'm adjusting the sphere, I'm looking for there to be an X pattern in the mud. I know that sounds really confusing, but when you're standing at the sphere machine, and I'll see if I can show you, um, you'll see it makes an X as it whips around. So I don't know if the camera is going to be able to pick that up, but you see how it's changing left to right in direction? It makes an X pattern in the mud. That's what you want to be looking for. If it's spinning in one direction, that's not good. You need to adjust the head.
Lee's
We
asking
do
if we. Sorry, go ahead, Zeke.
we do sell the segments. I never like sharpen, if that's what you're asking, the cups, because they grind away pretty at a decent pace with the spears. Uh, I personally, when I had my shop, I just put NECs on the threads, and that made it like I could always just spin them off. These are brand new cups, which is why those ones were so hard to get off. But they do have flat spots to be taken off with a wrench if you need. So we're probably actually pretty close to done there. This is 220 grit, so I'll just rinse this off. And right now, what I'm going to look for is major scratches and make sure that we did clean up from the 80 grit.
Lauren sent this question via direct message. If I remember correctly, you said that you use a silver solder. Sorry. Is a regular lead-free solder acceptable as well?
No, you have to use the silver solder. Um, I was the same way. I tried the lead solder like you'd buy at a hardware store, and it didn't even come close to holding the segments on. So if you look right here, we actually missed the spot where it's still a little um rough right there. That's still from our first step that we didn't clean up that I couldn't fill. So I'm gonna grab a Sharpie and mark that, and we can watch it go away on the 220 cups. Now, if I can just remember where a Sharpie is, we'll be doing great.
How many spheres are made before a cup needs replacement?
Well, it depends on the grit of the cup because not all the cups wear the same pace and how long you run them. But that's a really hard question to answer.
And then Kim is asking, do you resurface the cups?
Yeah, we do. I
And then
mean,
Tony,
when I had
sorry, go
my
ahead.
when I had my shop, I would just buy new ones because I didn't want to solder them on. So I would just order them. But like when John does it, he retips his.
And then Tony is asking, Would brazing a rod with torch work?
I know some people use brazing rods. I've never tried it. I always just use the silver solder. And then we got a little spot right there that I don't love. So I'm just marking it with a Sharpie so that I can see those clean up. And see we got a spot there and a spot there. And you'll watch in the machine the Sharpie will disappear and then we know we're golden. So I always get it wet before I start it and then turn it down to just a little drip. No, it's such a small spot that I think it'll clean up pretty fast on these cups. If this was a really hard material, I would probably go back. I don't ever sharpen the segments because they wear a lot faster than diamond blades. Like some cups, maybe you'll get 30 spheres out of your preform cups before you need a new one. But like your 8,000 grit, like I did 500 spheres and never replaced my 8,000 grit cups. So it depends on how you use them and how long you're running them. But some of the cups will last a lot longer. I've never sharpened the cups. I do sharpen the segment or the core drill bits, but I don't sharpen the cups. And I'm just watching for that perfect X pattern. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Ed. I really do enjoy making the spheres. It's one of the funnest things that I like to do in lapidary. When I bought the core drill and the high speed sphere machine for my own shop, I actually got to a point where I liked cutting the rocks more than I liked going out and collecting them. All I wanted to do was sit and make spheres.
Eddie's asking, how do you sharpen the core bits?
So if you've watched the video on how to sharpen the blades, where we use a file or a hammer, it's the same technique. It's just a little bit trickier because you're doing it on something round, like a circle instead of a big disc. But it's the exact same technique. I prefer a peening hammer because I find it easier to do. All right, let's see how close we've got. So we still got a little Sharpie right there. And just the tiniest amount of Sharpie right there. So, I mean, honestly, John probably would have said to put this back in the first step to clean those spots up, but we're so close that I'm just going to let it finish in the 220. But one of the things I was saying earlier is actually letting it get muddy that mud will help grind away these segments, and that actually does help keep it sharp. I'm curious, how many people are on tonight are interested in learning how to make spheres or already make spheres? Put in the chat if you want to learn how to make spheres or if you already make spheres. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, you're gonna love it, Sharon. Diamond cups changed everything. When I was a kid, I made spheres with my dad, and I actually grew to hate making spheres because I was doing it with a saw and the carbide using the grit, and I hated doing it. I was like, I don't ever want to do this again. And when I saw a video of John making a sphere, that's when I was like, I gotta make spheres again. That's awesome, James. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Lawrence. It's always fun to learn something new. The one time that it would be better to use your 220 grit cups like I'm using right now, instead of using going back to the 80 grit cups, is if you're working on something really delicate and because the 80 grit cups are a lot harder on the stone. So if I'm trying to keep size, using the finer grit cups to grind it down can help me get really close to the bigger size. 80 grit will take it down a lot faster. So on the grits that we're going to use tonight, we started with a 60 to 80 grit mix. Right now we're in 220 grit. We just got a little flat spot that we're working out. Then we'll go to 400 grit metal bond, and then the most important step, which is the 400 polishing cup. Which the biggest difference between that is if you imagine the 220 grit wheel on your cab machine and the 280 grit wheel, it's kind of that kind of progression where it's a big step, even though the grits are close to the same size. And then we'll go up to 800, 1200, 4000, and then all the way up to 8000. Well, let's check and see where we're at. Maybe I will have to step this down. Because if we don't get the flat spots out now, you'll wind up with a finished sphere with a 80 grit scratches on it. I think we got rid of it though. I'm not seeing any flat spots or scratches where we marked it with Sharpie. Let me wipe it off and let's check. And it's always good to wipe your stone off and look at it dry. If you're looking at it wet, the water can hide flaws. That looks pretty good. Let's take it up to the 400 grit. Don't want to drop your cups. I actually have broken several segments just because I dropped the cup, not because the sphere came loose. So right now, what I'm putting in here is the 400 metal bond grit. Nope, this machine is just sitting on the concrete floor. I'll have to check some of these cups because they're not going on very smoothly tonight. Normally these go on pretty smooth. So I'm not too happy that these are not going on smoother. I will be right back. Let me grab another wrench. Now, the correct thing to do would not be to just tighten these down like I'm doing right now. It would be to grab a tap the size of the threads and clean the threads up. But I do not have a tap here at the moment. Right? That's exactly who I'd be in trouble with. No, I wiped the shaft off. It's gunk in the cups. Hey, Carl. Apparently, I don't know which size wrench goes on this. I thought I did. That need a bigger wrench. No, I think this set of cups had been sitting for a while, and they're just a little gunked up in the threads. So taking a tap and going through the threads is what would fix this. But if I don't have a wrench big enough, what we'll do is we'll just stick this in the low speed sewing machine, and I'll sit and clean out the threads. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I don't have a wrench big enough. I thought it was closer to a 1 inch. Well, of course, then I got the cup stuck on there. Now I can't get that off. It's always something. It is good that these have flat spots on them, so they are pretty easy to get off with a wrench if you can't do it by hand. Yeah, the threads on that are a little gunked up. So what we'll do is we'll take these off and switch them over, see if I can get them on the low speed machine. I guess it's also possible that the threads on the high speed sewing machine are a little messed up, but they look pretty good. I think it's just the cups. Let me stick these on the other machine and see if they go on better. Because I did want to show using the high-speed sphere machine tonight as well. Or excuse me, the low-speed sphere machine. Nope, not quite loose enough. Oh, this is probably the most helpful for you guys, actually, is the troubleshooting. Although this is not the hardest problem to deal with. Yeah, they're doing metaphysical in the other room. Or at least I hope so. That's what they told me they were headed to do. Team, can you help Patrick get a link to the other Zoom room? All right. Well, we'll set up and run these on this because I was able to get two of the cups on there. Let's see about this one. This will be good showing setting up this machine. I like to prop the this one's the trickiest part is getting all the heads leaned up. So I just prop them on one at a time and then use the bungee cord to wrap around. You can see it can be a little tricky. And then once we're in there, I'm going to use my elbows to push the two heads back and then push the other one away. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one, but I'm going to check on this angle right here. So what I'm going to do is loosen these. I'm going to get that out of the way. Let me go grab a wrench. I believe that one's a 1/2 inch. It's nice having a toolbox with everything where I know where it's actually at, so I'm not wandering around for 20 minutes looking for a tool. That is definitely some big progress. Oh, the other thing I will need is a mallet, so I'll grab that while I'm over here. A mallet is really handy to be able to tap these heads back because of the way they're tightened down. So you want the same idea as when we set up the high-speed machine. And that is a 9/16 inch. So I'm going to loosen these bolts. I'm not going to loosen them all the way, just enough to get the tension off so I can slide this head back a little bit. So I'll undo that. Then I'm going to take the mallet and I'm taking back just a little bit. And I have this gauge set up so that I can see when I get to 90 degrees. So that's really close right there. I'll just go ahead and snug these up again. And I'd actually prefer a ratchet, but I grabbed a wrench. So I'm not going to go crazy tightening them up because I may need to adjust still. So I'll do the same thing to this one over here. And I'm getting it really close to 90 degrees. And then I'm going to tighten those up a little bit so they don't move while I'm adjusting the other one. I'm not going to go crazy tightening those up till I got everything adjusted, and then I'll snug them all down. Well, I'll take that one. We're actually really close already. So let me just check. I'll take that
Tony
one
is
back just a little.
asking,
Yes.
what is the name or the brand of the measuring tool that you're using?
This is just tough built. It can be bought at Lowe's. This is just a digital angle gauge. You can see right there. The brand doesn't really matter. But the digital angle gauge really helps do this quickly. Take out the guesswork. That's about as close to perfect 90 as you're going to get. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just like to get it there, so it makes it easier to start my adjustments. All right, now that I got these all really close to 90 degrees, what I'm going to do is the same thing as I did on the high speed, where I'm going to pull it back, and I want the bottom edge to lift up on that sphere cup. So I think I need to take this one back just a tiny bit more. And this is, again, once you get this set up properly, it's not something you have to do a lot. And usually I'm doing in big batches, so I'm rarely doing this at all. Yep, got a little too far back. So I'm gonna take it in just a hair. I'll just take this and tap on the bottom. On my machine, I just kept the wrenches there to adjust it. I'd maybe adjust it once a week when I was doing, so after I've done a couple hundred spheres, or not a couple hundred spheres, but 100 spheres or so. All right, all the heads are making contact now. So what I'm gonna do is grab my bowl. I'll stick it in there. Let's plug this in. I'll get our water started. And now I'm gonna really focus more on the bungee cords to make sure I'm getting that X pattern. That's way too much water. So I can pull and adjust the bungee cords and even adjust different angles if I need to. And one of the things I can do is I can adjust them by moving them like that, where I'm just changing where the tension is on the bungee. And I'm just going for an X pattern. It's not as drastic on the low speed. Let me adjust that up so you guys can see what's going on. We got that pretty close to getting good perfect rotation right there. It's decent rotation. I'd like it to be a little bit better. And don't forget, later tonight, we will be doing the cab competition. I'm really excited about that. I saw some of the pictures that were coming in. Looked really good. The water feed is that little tiny copper tube there. Again, it's just getting it set up. Once it's set up, you don't tweak it that much. And like if I was doing a batch of spheres, once I got it adjusted properly and the right tension on it, I wouldn't change that. I would just lean the heads back a little bit, pop the sphere in and out with my elbows, and then I'm good to do the next one. A lot of it is just getting it set up right the first time, and then it's easy after that. No, I use the my elbows to lean the heads of the sphere machine back on the low speed. I'll show you what I mean when I take out the sphere. You guys are so funny. Get just a little bit more water on that. But yeah, this machine is really cool because I like to take this machine to shows and be able to do this live. The material we're using is dragon's blood, some of the new stuff we just got.
Matthew's asking why you're not constantly dripping water on the sphere on this um step.
Just because I didn't adjust the flow to get a perfect drip. And I don't need as much water on the low speed sphere machine because it's not grinding as fast. So the sphere is still plenty wet, and the mud helps keep the bits sharp. So as long as I can see that it's wet. Now, if I was going to walk away from this for a few minutes and not really pay attention to it, I would turn the water up. But since I'm standing here watching it, I don't need to. I can just turn it on a little bit here and there to get it to drip on it. But you could set it to be a consistent drip. There's really fine adjustment on this knob to get it to adjust. There's a really good drip right there.
And then David
Like if
is asking what's sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say if I was like at a show and I wasn't gonna be watching this the whole time, I'd let it drip like this so that it didn't get dry.
David Horn is asking what's the difference in the speed between the high speed and low speed sphere machine?
So if I remember correctly, I think the high speed sphere machine is somewhere between 8 and 10 times faster.
And then
John
from
is actually
sorry, go
working
ahead.
on John is working on building a rack. He used to have a rack to hold all the sphere cups that he used. What I personally used because I didn't have a fancy rack is I went on Facebook Marketplace and got a bakery cart where it holds all the baked cookie sheets, and I would use a cookie sheet and lay all my cups out on that, and so they were all organized on cookie sheets. Same with my jigs and cups or jigs and corbits. All right, so let me move the camera back so I can show you what I meant with taking the sphere out with my elbows. I'll put the camera back a little bit so you're not as focused on the sphere, and we'll check this sphere. Is I put my on the tops here, I put my elbows, and one hand I'm gonna push the other one away from me, and then I can lift it in and out with my hands and don't have to. So now I didn't change anything. I can put the next sphere in. Oh, looks pretty good. Looks like we got rid of all the major scratches. I don't think we were in that step very long, maybe 10 minutes or so. So let me turn the water off and let's go back over to the high-speed sphere machine and we'll do our. Now this is the longest step other than your first grind. This is the 400 grit polish. So what we just used was the 400 metal bond in the low speed sphere machine. These are the 400 poly grit. A lot of people ask, do I really need this step? This is actually the most important one to get a really good polish. This step will make the biggest difference. Let's move those back. Get that adjusted in here. And on every one, I always check, see, because we're not touching very well right there. So I actually think it's because we need to take these back just a little bit. So let me move those back. But you want to make sure that bottom edge of the cup is making good contact. And it's easy to just lift the head back and move it forward until. All right, we're pretty good right there. Oh, I unplugged the water because to plug in the low speedster machine. So let me plug that back in. You do need a little bit more water with the poly cups. So I'll just like to get that nice and wet and then I'll turn that down. If you get too much water on there, it'll create a hydroplaning effect. And the first time, since this is the first time I'm using these cups, it'll probably make the sphere a little black from the poly cups. That is normal. Don't worry about it. It'll wash off. And now I'm spinning too much in one direction, so I'm gonna walk around and adjust my head so that I'm getting the more of that X pattern. Honestly, getting the X pattern was the thing I was the most worried about when I got the sphere machines, and it's really not that hard to achieve once you play with the sphere machine a little bit, because it's pretty easy to see once you start doing it. I know it's hard to see on camera because I didn't really understand until I got my first sphere machine. Yeah, I'm using these handles, the big handles back here. Like if you can see where my hand is, I was just turning that wheel right there. There you can see it. You just adjust these minor adjustments to get it lined up perfect. If you do what I was saying with lining your heads up so that they're close to parallel or level, and you make sure the bottom edge of your cup is touching, that's the two easiest ways to get that X pattern because there's not a lot of adjusting if you get those right. And if you just stick it in there and don't adjust, like don't get those done first, it can feel like a nightmare to get it that X pattern. But if you do those two things first, really easy to get there. The other thing you can do if sometimes if you're having a hard time adjusting it is you can lean on the heads a little bit to try to figure out which head needs to be adjusted. Like I can push down right there and get the head to lean back. But these are adjusted pretty good right here. We'll just give it a minute and this is the most important step, the 400 poly cups to get a good polish. On some stones, if it's a really hard stone, you'll actually start to see a polish after about the 800 grit, which is our next step. All right, let's take it out and look at it. And we should see a pretty smooth ball. We shouldn't see any scratches at this point. They should all be smaller than what we can see. This is a pretty cool material. I have to admit, I'm getting a little attached to this sphere. And it's a little dark right now because the cup left a little black residue on there because it's a brand new cup. But that's not a problem. It'll come off. All right, I think we're good to go to the next step. Let's go to 800 grit. I'm
Ed
not
is
sure why these.
asking,
Go ahead, Darwin.
are these polycups like the soft Nova calving wheels?
They're a lot harder than cabbing wheels. Uh, but similar if you're talking about like when you're polishing, that's what they would be the equivalent of. But these are like really hard. Like there's no give to these at all. But to the stone, comparatively, these are a lot softer. All right, we'll go to our orange cups, which are the 800 grit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get a tap to clean these up because these are pretty gunky. This is the first set of cups I've had that were this hard to get on and off. All right, we should be adjusted pretty good already. So let's check that adjustment. Move this head in just a hair. All right, we're good to go. That is perfect X pattern right there. But you can see that can change. So we'll just adjust that a little bit, especially if you're brand new cups. There's a lot more adjusting on brand new cups because they haven't broken in yet. Once they start to break in and get their groove, then they're a little less, or actually a lot less adjusting. There's also a little too much water on these. The water can cause hydroplaning, or it can be very difficult to get good rotation if there's too much water on your poly cups. No, it doesn't matter if you put it on the same spindle. She's over doing the metaphysical stuff tonight. So that's actually one of the things John's working on. Currently, you just have to buy a new cup. He's working on designing them so that in the future they will be a replacement that you can just glue on. But as of right now, you just have to buy the replacements. But they really kind of last a long time. And on this step, we need maybe 2 or 3 minutes is all. One of the things that I kept was a little magnetic timer on my sphere machine at home, but I haven't bought a new one since moving out here because I haven't been doing as much sphering. I just got one on Amazon that had a little magnet on it so I could stick it like a little fridge one, so I could stick it on here and time the spheres. Right now, I'm just kind of chatting and letting them go. Oh, that's awesome, Gregory. I'm excited for you. All right, let's see how we look. I do like when they come out a little warm. That's awesome. Well, you have fun. All right, let's look at it here. It looks pretty good. Starting to get shiny. Yeah, if you did not get 2 boxes, you probably did not get all of it. Yeah, the pump, I believe, came in a separate box. That looks pretty good. You can see that we're starting to get a polish on there already. So we'll go ahead and swap to our next cups. And this is the other reason I like to do the sphering in batches, is I don't have to swap out the cups nearly as often. I mean, on my machine at home, I was swapping the cups maybe every 8 hours because that's about how long it would take me to get through a big batch. Somewhere between 4 and 8 hours, depending on the size of the batch I was doing. Even if it was hourly, it was better than doing it every step. All right, let's adjust those cups. Oh, we're actually pretty good there. Let's see how we roll. You can actually already see that it's getting a pretty good polish on there. After the 1200 grit, which is what we're at right now, this sphere will look pretty good. It is a really fun process to watch. Like Tuesday night, I was getting lost just watching the core drill because I was so enamored with watching the core drill run that I forgot we were even doing a cut and chat. I could easily get lost just watching the sphere machine run. That was the biggest cause actually of me running the spheres too long, is I was so happy just watching the spheres run that I'd forget that I needed to swap them around. All right, that should be good for that step. Let's wipe it off and see. And then we should be pretty close to having a polish on there, if not a polish already. These cups really make a huge difference getting a good polish. All right, let's swap it around to the next grit. So these were our 1200 grit cups. I'll put in the 4000 grit next. Yeah, I was probably running a little long on some of those other steps, just chatting. You lose track of time. It really is fast. You can see, if you got a 5-gallon bucket of preforms done, it doesn't take long to finish them. All right, that one we're going to need to adjust up a little bit. You can see right now it's doing pretty good X pattern. If you watch how the pattern moves erratically back and forth. Darwin, that is a question for you. The sphere was preformed in the core drill. We did 5 cuts with a core drill, and that's how we did the preform. But that is available for viewing. And if not, I do have a full video on YouTube, on my personal YouTube, showing the sphere making process. But we should actually just video the process offline so that you guys can see a really well done video instead of just me rambling and walking around and doing it. Let's see how we look. Darwin, do you have a link to that actually? Yeah, see, most people wouldn't even take it up higher because it looks so good already. But we're going to take it up another step, and that'll have a great polish on it. This dragon blood is a really cool material. Hey, Sherman. We're just having a grand old time making spheres. I don't believe this material fluoresces, but we can check. Those are Sherman's legs. Let me set these cups out of the way. And now we'll check. That cup's a little bit off, but I think we're going to be perfect right there. So let's go ahead.
What grit are we on now, Zeke?
That's perfect rotation. We're on 8,000 grit right now, and this is the last one. So see this one, you can see I got a little too much water on there, and that's why it's hydroplaning a little bit, trying to find that perfect balance of getting the X rotation. Because the finer grit makes it harder for it to catch. This won't take very long. You can see it already had a pretty good polish on there with the 4,000 grit cups. So it should really just glow with these 8,000 grit. This is one that I wouldn't even take and do a higher polish on. We did have one Cacoxenite sphere. If you can get a piece big enough, they make really nice spheres. I love when it gets that perfect X pattern in it. See, this is where I'm probably letting it run too long, but I'm getting like, ooh, ah, watching it go. And if I'm on a material that I'm worried about getting contamination, I do not use one of my dirty paper towels that I used on an earlier step. If I stop it, like if some materials don't need to go higher, some of them look so good after 8,000 grit that it just will not look better. Some materials, if you stop at like, if this was Cherry Creek, this would not look polished yet. We'd have to go to the Milk and Diamond to get a polish on there. But honestly, I don't think you'd be able to tell a difference if we did Milk and Diamond on this. I do love chocolate milk. Hey, David. But you can see that turned out great. Beautiful sphere, really good polish on there, and it's very consistent through the green and the red. All right, any other sphere questions or questions about the sphere machines? We use 50,000 grit with the Milk and Diamond. You can pin up the other camera, Darwin. And I've yet to get an actual source from John. He's working on getting the diamond powder. I'll just look online on Amazon, see what's the cheapest. But John is working on getting it because he does have a pretty good source for it. He has yet to give me an actual measurement of how much diamond to milk. But so far, what I've done is about a pinch of diamond in a thing of milk. You don't mix up a bunch at once, just a little bit at a time. I don't know. I'm kind of attached to this sphere now. It's a pretty nice sphere. Darwin, shall we go over the contest rules and do the cab competition?
Do you want to do a spin first, Zeke?
I did not plan on spins, and we're gonna give away so much stuff tonight. Let's do the cab contest. Sorry, I'm
All
still a
right,
little sick, so I'm a little out of it.
it's okay. All right, we'll share the voting mechanics first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just waiting for the team to share the mechanics on screen.
You are very welcome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. You know what's funny is I suggested this to John as the cut and chat as an idea, just because I wanted time to sit and make stuff, and it's actually turned out really great. I love doing this with you guys. It allows me to do some lapidary, and I really enjoy that you guys love learning. So it's a great experience. What I'm really excited about is getting this sphere machine set up. This is the hydraulic sphere machine. This one will do up to 24-inch spheres. I can't wait to get that one running. We're still waiting for power to that one. I'm so glad. You know, that's one of our core values. Our mission is to get 1 million new people into the lapidary arts. And inspiration is one of the core values that's really important to us. uh, Inspiring other people to make things and get started, that's super important. It's one of the things I strive for every day. Because honestly, my John is who got me inspired to do spheres. I had I'd actually lost almost all interest in doing lapidary at one point, and I hadn't done it in a year or two. And John really inspired me to get back into it and start cutting spheres, and that's what I do every day now. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that I get you guys excited to try new things and make new things because it's exciting to me. That's why I love seeing what you guys do so much. That's why we came up with these competitions, is because like I want to see what you guys are making. That gets me really excited. Where are we at, Darwin?
Sorry, I'm not sure where Nerms is, but I'll just post the voting mechanics on the chat so we can go ahead. All right. So again, just to recap, we have two categories: the Idaho Sunset Scene Agate Cab and Best Overall Cab. So entries for each category were randomly divided into groups. We will show the entries one by one first, and then show all entries for each group on a single slide. Voting will begin as we're showing the photos of the entire group. So each entry would have a number assigned to it. And for your votes, you just need to put in the number corresponding to the entry that you like best for each group. Voting will be 1 minute per round. Each participant is only allowed one vote. The winner of each group will move on to the next round of voting. At the final round, the entry with the highest number of votes win. But since we're doing top three, the top three entries with the highest numbers of votes win. In case of a tie, Zeke will pick his favorite and will be declared the winner. A participant can get only one placement per category. In the event that more than one entry from the same participant placed in the top three, he or she will only get the prize for the higher placement. The rest of the entries will be bumped one position higher until we complete our top three. So, for example, if I win first place and second place, I will get the prize for the first place. The third place will get the prize um, for the second place, or will be bumped up as second place, and the fourth place will be bumped up to third place. And then we will reveal the winners at the end of the night. Do you also want to discuss the prizes, Zeke, or do you want to show that later when we have the winners?
Do you have the
All,
list of prizes? I want you to go over
yep.
the
All right.
prizes. I don't remember what I sent you.
All right. So for the best Idaho Sunset Agate Cap category, the first place will get Premium Idaho Sunset Agate pieces handpicked by Zeke. The second place will get capping templates and 1 pound of 1970s Malawi Classic Agate capping and tumbling grade. And the third place will get 2 pounds of Amazonite capping and tumbling grade. And for the best overall cab category, the first place will get a rutilated quartz. The second place will get capping templates and 2 pounds of Mozambique capping select and tumbling grade. Sorry, Mozambique capping and tumbling grade. And the third place will get 1 pound of Idaho Sunset capping and tumbling grade.
Man, the piece of rutilated quartz that Tay picked is killer.
All right.
All right,
Which
shall we?
category do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the Idaho Sunset.
All right. And thank you, by the way, everyone, for submitting your entries. We really enjoyed going through them.
Oh my goodness, some of the photos that I saw were just incredible. And I do take bribes.
All right. So for the best Idaho Sunset Seam Agate Cap category, we will have 3 groups. And then the winners for each group will move on to the final round of voting to determine placement. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go through group 1.
Well, I like that. It looks like a
So that's
dragon.
entry number 1 for group 1.
I like the choice of placement, putting it on the wood. The photo is very nice. And I think the photo really does matter when you're doing these, because it
Entry
helps display it really well.
entry number 2 for group 2.
It's an interesting pattern, cut a different way.
And entry number 3 for group 1. All right. Should we show everyone? So
All
these
right.
are all the entries for group 1. Voting starts now.
It's actually pretty tight. I'm glad you guys are keeping track of this, because I wouldn't be able to keep track of it.
30 seconds left.
Make sure to get your vote in. Yeah, they are all pretty. I love seeing all the different cabs you guys cut. This is so cool. Because I just like to see what you guys make.
Time's up. Just give us a few moments to tally the votes.
Do you want to start showing the next ones while you tally the votes, or is that not enough capacity tonight?
Yep, not enough capacity tonight. Sorry.
No worries. We're stretched a little thin, so that's why I asked. Yeah, often getting a good picture is cutting harder than cutting the stone for some of us. I know that would certainly be the case for me. You guys all did a good job.
All right, so we have the final tally for this group, and moving on to the final round of voting. Actually, there's a tie. I think we
There's a
just, yeah, there's a tie. It's very narrow margin. So can we go back to the second slide? Can we do another round of voting, Zeke, or do you want to break at the tie by choosing between the two that
Oh
got
my
the
goodness.
same number of votes?
I don't want to have to be the tiebreaker. That was supposed to be a hypothetical situation.
Okay, let's just do a second round of voting for this group between the two caps that got the highest votes. So let's just keep it to 30 seconds so it goes faster.
I'm gonna keep
So
it to
it's
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay.
9,
Sorry.
8.
Sorry, wait. Sorry. Sorry.
It's too late,
There,
Darwin.
the
Too
voting
late.
hasn't started yet. So not everyone, not all entries are going to the tie break. So hold on guys. Sorry. So the tie break is for
Well,
entries.
where Ed Deckard says number 2 looks like Tiger leaning in, they're down is what you're counting from. So just count from where Ed Deckard said number 2 looks like Tiger leaning on a rock.
No, because not all three caps would be voted on, Zeke, and everyone was still voting on the three caps. There are only two caps that are tied for the highest votes.
That's okay. Just go with what I said. It'll work out, I promise.
Okay, hold on.
We don't want to turn this into the great debate on I'm going with the tiger on the rock too. That does look pretty cool. And I like the choice of the wood for the background in the photo. They got just the hair a blur.
All right, so moving on to the next round is entry number 2.
Awesome. See, I told you it'd work out, Darwin.
All right, this is for group 2. So in this group, we have 4 entries. Let's go through them one by one first. This is entry number 4.
This was such a cool material. Look at that polish. You can see the sunset. That is great detail getting the sunset in the polish. Or in the picture, I should say.
Right? This is entry number 5. All right. This is entry number 6. And this is entry number 7.
I like the yellow in this one.
Right? Let's see all of them side by side. So your votes are between 4, 5, 6, and 7. Voting starts now.
Yeah, those are good cabs. I like the Vug in number 5. Give us a countdown, Darwin. Although I think I can predict the winner on this one.
Yep. 30 seconds left. Actually,
Oh, don't give us
20
30
seconds
seconds
left.
left. We go faster. We'll go a little bit speedier.
So you want to reduce the voting time to 30 seconds, see? For the
Yeah,
succeeding
just do a
rounds.
total of 30 seconds. Because
Okay.
everybody's already voted.
All right.
It
Time's
really
up.
does. The background is a bit makes a huge difference. Which is something you guys should be thinking about if you're selling your cabs online. Your photo really does matter. You can see right here, it clearly is making a difference.
So I think we have a clear winner for this round. Moving on to the final round of voting is entry number 4.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite too.
Okay, for group 3, the last group for the Idaho Sunset Seam Agate Cap category. Let's look at entry number 8. All right. This is entry number 9. And lastly, we have entry number 10. All right, let's see all side by side. 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
I just switched my headset. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Zeke.
Darwin?
Yep, I can hear you, Zeke. All right,
Darwin?
time's up. I can hear you, Zeke. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't hear Darwin apparently.
Okay, for this group, I think we also have a clear winner on this one. And it's entry number 8.
Entry number 8 is really pretty.
So that's the end of the first round of voting. Give us a few seconds to collate all 3 winners in a single slide for the final round of voting.
We're gonna hold you to that few seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I just Sorry, I gotta harass Darwin. It's fun. Do.
All right, we have the final round qualifiers. Can we show this slide, please?
Doesn't our team do an awesome job? Even under capacity, they're still putting together this awesome round for us, these nice slides. Like I can tell you, if this was just me by myself doing this, it would not look this good. Not even close. You'd probably end up with some Polaroids held up in front of my camera.
So here are your finalists. From
Yeah,
the first group, entry number 2. From the second group, entry number 4.
oh, that's gonna be tough.
And for the third group, entry number 8. Here are all of them side by side.
I like all of them. It's crazy to think this is the same material. I have to admit, with the, I think number 2 is still my favorite.
30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
Although they're all really well done. It's a very hard choice. You guys did not make it easy to choose a winner.
Ten seconds. Three, two, one. Time's up. Give us a few seconds to tally the votes.
You know, Darwin, every time you say a few seconds, it makes me think to harass you a little bit.
Give us an hour to tally the votes.
Well, an hour is a stretch, you know. You can have more than a few seconds, though. I really do like whoever did number 4. I really do like how they captured the sunset in their picture, yet it still looks like they're inside.
Okay, so we have our winners. Do you want to reveal the winners now, Zeke, or should we do it later at the end of the show?
Sorry, I wandered off. What did you say?
Should we reveal the winners now, or should we wait until the end of the show?
I'll just reveal the winners now. We want to know.
Okay, so we'll start at third place. At third place is entry number 8, and it's a cab from Randy Heights. Is Randy in the
Very
room?
nice.
Congratulations, Randy. For second place,
Are we sure we got the name right?
let me double check.
Is Randy in the room? Yeah, Randy says it's not his. So you got that. It's Kathy Tweet.
Sorry, hold on. All right, so number 8 is Kathy Tweet. So third place. At second place is actually also Kathy Tweet. Photo number 4. That's also Kathy's. So third place, based on the previous round of voting, it's going to entry number 3 of the first group, which is from Michael Salazar.
Oh, congratulations.
So third place is Michael Salazar, second place is Kathy Tweet, and our grand winner,
You sure you got this right, Darwin? I think Darwin's having a panic attack over there. Well, this is because we showed all of them. So Mike Salazar is getting first place. Kathy Tweet got second place. That's awesome. You did a good job. Now give us the third place.
sorry, hold on.
Mike Salazar. Michael Salazar. Darwin's getting us all mixed up here. So Michael Salazar won first place. Kathy Tweet won second place, and we're still waiting on who's in third place. Oh, you did a good job, Kathy. I know, we're about to have a revote. Did we lose you, Darwin?
Nope, I'm here. I'm just double checking. All right. Third place goes to Kevin J. Hall. So first place goes to Michael Salazar, second place goes to Kathy Tweet, and third place goes to Kevin J. Hall.
Awesome. Congratulations, everybody. I'll give Darwin crap later about keeping names straight. All right, we ready for the overall cabs?
Can
Those
you
are
give
really
us a few
beautiful.
seconds just to double check the numbers and the labels
I think you have it right.
for the overall cap, just to
Oh.
avoid the same thing?
I was like, I think you got this right now. I think we're good. But yes, quickly check those. We're anxious to see the next thing. We have low attention span. We live in a world where the next thing is one swipe away. Or at least I have a low attention span. Honestly, it's a miracle that I'm able to do lapidary because my attention span is so low, unless I'm doing something like lapidary, in which case I can spend all day doing it. Anything else usually gets about 30 seconds of my attention. We are waiting for Darwin and team to finish tallying up for the overall cabs, and when we start showing photos, we'll vote on the best overall cab. That category was just best Idaho sunset. I'm glad we can keep you guys entertained. Yeah, I can give you a call, Carl. Can we see a photo of the third place cab? I think that was cab number 1. I mean, I know just what we're hearing is silence, is the team's all scrambling in the background trying to get this all ready for us.
Sorry, just a few seconds, guys. And just to answer um, Kathy's question, yes, Kathy, the third place cap is yours, but since yours is also the second place, we'll be giving you the second place prize and bumping up Kevin J. Hall as the third place.
I wanted as many people to win as possible, so I told Darwin that you can only win one position per category. So you could still win a position in the next category.
These are some nice cabs.
Hey, Sherman.
Yeah. We just finished up over here and jumped on to in here with you. Taya's coming down there right now.
Yeah, Tay just walked in.
All
We're
right.
getting set up to do the next competition, which is best overall cab. This was best Idaho Sunset.
Yeah, nice.
And you see these people did some beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be still in my chair. Go grab your own chair. I will kick that over. I know, it's a beautiful sphere.
Yeah.
Kay's admiring the
Hey,
dragon
Tay,
blood
you should
sphere
get
we
a
made.
microphone on. You should get a microphone on there, Tay. Yeah, I have to get them I
Here
keep
I am.
these two straightened out.
What do you mean? I've been doing I don't know. I have no defense.
He's got no defense. Okay, good. You admit it.
Oh, those are some pretty
Okay,
eyes.
so let's proceed on. I'm just stepping in, so I don't this is your guys' show on the cab side.
We're waiting for the team to get us to the next step. There's
All
technical
right.
difficulties happening.
Oh, they'll work it out.
I fully just robbed you.
I'm just harassing Darwin for their entertainment.
I know you've been holding this. It's so warm.
What's that?
You've been holding this. It's warm.
It's warm because it just came out of the sphere machine.
It's so warm.
Did you all enjoy the sphere cutting stuff? Put it in the chat. Oh, voting irregularities. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's awesome. I don't think hopefully they're not making up the rules as they go.
No, all the rules were discussed beforehand.
Yeah, probably that'd be a good thing in the future to publish the rules so that everybody knows the rules going in.
Are you done? Oh, we'll do it later.
We don't want Zeke to spread his illness to the rest of us, so we're keeping him contained.
I'm sick, so Tay
He's sick.
came in, so I put the mask back on so I didn't breathe on her.
Yeah, because
You blame me
it's
for
bad
getting
enough
sick,
having
and I
Zeke
blame
out for 4 days. Oh, that's
There's-
awesome, Ed. That's
There.
good. That's good to hear.
I figure if I'm gonna be home bed and sick, I can't have Tay not working.
Running a fever and sweating and doing. I came down there and he's sweating right now. I made him go buy a thermometer and was like, "Go check your temperature." And Zeke's a trooper. He's like powering through even though he's not feeling good. Y'all probably didn't even know that he's pretty sick. He's pretty sick.
There's chairs by the door.
You watched my pathetic walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't poor Zeke. No poor Zeke.
Hey.
There is no
Zeke
poor
stays
Zeke.
up too late. That's a little bit of what we're
hard-
working to
he
Zeke
was
to get to
hard
bed
on
at a
me
regular
When I
time.
was sick.
It was not hard on you when you were sick.
Zeke will be saying, "Well, I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning watching comparison videos on Milwaukee tools." I'm like, how come you just don't sleep?
Usually it's because we do we end at midnight and then I go home and I'll have to decompress. So I lay there and watch videos till I have to get up again.
And he'll get himself all wound up on the videos. He doesn't have COVID, thankfully, and at least, and we know COVID. Tay doesn't have COVID either. Man, that's still.
I've never had COVID.
People get excited about that.
My
So
immune system is beautiful.
they are young. You're right, Jody. They are young,
I have
and
got scarlet fever though, so my immune system throws me for the loop sometimes.
yeah. Don't brag.
How do you get an eradicated illness?
Tay loves to brag.
Yeah. All right.
Where are we
Team,
at,
how
team?
you doing on your figuring out your process back there?
We're all anxious, chomping at the bit to see more beautiful cabs.
All
Yeah.
right, we're good to proceed to the next category for best overall cab, and I deeply apologize to everyone for
Do you
the
need us to build a
snafu.
database for this, Dark? Because we could do that.
Nope,
know.
it's okay. For now, at least.
All right.
You got
Okay, so let's proceed to the best overall cab.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I know we're pumped. Drum roll, please.
That's as good
So
as I
for
got.
the best overall cab, we had an overwhelming response. We got 57 entries. So it's going to be more rounds of voting. So first round would be groups of 9, and then the 9 winners will be subdivided into 3 groups for a second round of voting. And then the top 3 will go through the final round of voting to determine placement. Okay. Should we show the best overall agate, please? All right. So this is group 1,
First
first
round,
round of
best overall
voting.
cat. Oh, look at
Entry
that
number 1.
azurite. The colors in that azurite are amazing.
Ooh, that is
that's really
bright.
nice.
I knew this was gonna be a hard competition.
Shatterkite and Cooper. No,
That's azurite, it looks
that's
like.
right.
All right. Move to entry number 2.
Another,
Ooh,
oh, palmwood. Look at the angle that's
yeah.
cut out with the squiggly lines. Nice shape on it.
Move to entry number 3.
Ooh.
You guys are just killing me. This is gonna be so hard to choose. I'm so glad we're voting and I don't have to decide.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of a Lake Superior, but I don't know.
That's kind of what I thought too, or maybe one of the sardonyx agates.
This is
Oh,
entry
I
number
love me and my
4.
blues.
Nice chrysocolla.
Gotta love the blues.
Yeah, that's nice.
Let's go to entry number 5.
Oh wow, that's gorgeous.
I love the
And
placement of that fortifications perfectly in the center.
You have
Yep.
that like the clouding coming up through that clear agate.
Beautiful stone.
Yeah.
Good dimension.
and last entry for this group, entry number 6.
Kind of
Wow.
reminds me of Old Stock Laguna.
See, this one is one that I think that would actually look a lot better with a little bit better of a picture because I don't think we're seeing all the color that's in that cab. That's a beautiful cab though.
Yep.
So these are your entries for group 1. 1 to 6 are the choices. 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
I think 3, I love the placement. I think they nailed it on the shape and the placement of that.
They really did do a good job. Although number 5 is really good placement too.
Yeah. Bright colors. Number 1, vivid.
I think for my personal favorite though, if I was just gonna pick one of these stones, would be number 1. But I like all of them. They're all beautiful.
7
I
seconds
do
left.
really like the shape on number 3 though.
Yeah, I like number 3 a lot.
Time is up.
It's hard. I couldn't pick one. That's why we had to do this as voting.
Yeah. David's like, he's right. Let people vote. Stop commenting, guys.
Oh, what's the fun in that?
It's well, I mean, I guess when we do it like reality TV, they're always going to be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my vote doesn't matter.
Neither does mine. We can't vote.
But yeah, wait till they're done voting. I mean, generally, guys, I wouldn't be yapping about the particular pieces. We got to keep educating these guys, build their understanding of how to do it.
All right.
I didn't think we were that serious on the voting. My apologies.
Yeah, no. You got to be. People work hard on this stuff. Just do it. Hey, and one of the things I was also going to say, Darb, let's also look at using the polling tool for this next time. That may make the calculations easier for you guys.
Oh yeah, you can pull 1, 2, 3, or 4.
We could do that. So it'll actually make it pretty instant.
All right, so you have to give us a little time at the end so Mia and Zeke can yap after the voting is done.
That's fine.
Apparently.
We're not allowed to talk.
I
Not
don't know,
during.
that's the hardest part of this.
Yep.
Not getting
And,
my
well, especially
feedback.
for Zeke, it's hard not to talk, even though he's sick.
Here's the question. We won't give our personal opinions, but can we compliment the stones as we see them? Is that
No,
okay?
not until the voting's done.
Even if we compliment all the stones?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have talk, but you know, when you're in the middle of actual vote. They're calculating it now?
Yeah, they're tallying up the votes.
All
Okay.
right, so we have
Yeah.
the result for this group. So via a very narrow margin, moving on to the next round is entry number 1.
I'm okay. So number 1 is going on to the next thing.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so let's look at our second group.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Ed.
So this is entry number 7. Let's go to entry number 8.
Now, see, I think we can talk here. I think we just don't talk when people are voting.
This is entry number 9.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought you just said no feedback while
Oh,
we were
no,
doing
I'm
the
talking
count.
when they vote, Zeke. We're showing this
This is
stuff.
We did
entry
ask
number
if we were
10.
allowed to compliment the rooms, and you said no.
You said
Yeah.
not till
I
after
will say
voting.
that.
Yeah, you're missing the point. I'll have to just bear with me, guys. I'll tune them in a little bit.
See,
This
tomorrow's
is
backing up
entry
the.
number 11.
Oh, see, that's the problem is that everybody doesn't send the name of the material, they send the photos. So all of them, we're not entirely sure what they are. It would
Yeah.
be great if you guys put with the photos what the stones are so we can put that on there.
And this is entry number 12.
Well, that's an impressive group of cabs there.
So let's
Yeah.
see all of them side by side. So for this round, your choices are from 7 to 12, 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
They are very pretty. I do enjoy looking at your guys' work. I'm
Time's
curious
up.
what number 7 is.
All right, now we can talk, Zeke. I know
Yeah.
number 9 is charite. Number 10 looks like a dendritic agate or opal.
Yeah. 8
Um,
is obsidian.
12 is it is a
Crazy lace.
agate, but
Looks like crazy lace. 12 is, I think, is probably my favorite. I really like the shape and the placement on there.
I like
Mhm.
11.
I mean, they're all beautiful. 11 is almost looks like Victoria stone. It does,
What is that blue stone?
but I can't quite tell.
It starts with a C. Blue.
The only thing that looks like that that's natural that I can think of is demordiorite, but it
No,
doesn't look like that.
starts with a C, and
Oh,
it's
bridal stone. Thank
No,
you,
there's.
Kevin.
Yeah. No, it does look like a seascape. I agree with
I
that.
like
It's
11.
beautiful.
I love my.
I like the
blues.
cut on number 9. That's an unusual shape.
The bright
I
orange is
also like
Oh.
number 7, like those little lines going through it on number 7 is cool.
Translucent veining in it looks interesting. I'm
Mhm.
curious what the stone
Yeah.
is. I'm wondering if it's like a Moroccan sea maggot.
Yeah.
Mine is. Oh, it's
It does look like a butterfly wing. Yeah.
Oh, I can see that.
There is a rock called butterfly wing.
Huh.
It's more of a colloquial name
11
for
is
it.
Bridewell stone. Okay.
I was looking at slabs of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Think
number 9 is
Charlotte.
Charles.
All right, so the final tallies in. Moving on to the next round of voting from this group is entry number 12.
It's called butterfly jasper.
Oh, interesting. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful.
Congratulations, whoever did number 12.
This is the next group. We have entry number 13.
I see. I really like that they put the name right on the picture.
Yeah,
That is
that's
very
cool.
helpful.
Yeah,
Pretty.
nice.
That makes it really easy to
See,
identify.
here, I think we're fine commenting because everybody's commenting in your head. When you start to vote, you stop commenting.
Nice piece of crazy lace, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Entry
that's
number
pretty.
14.
Nice eyes, nice banding.
Yeah. A nice composition. I like the eyes down at the bottom.
Ooh,
Oh.
Entry number 15.
Yeah, turquoise.
Yeah.
pretty turquoise.
Good spider webbing in it.
Yeah.
Like the contrast.
All right.
I like the shape.
Mm-hmm.
Entry
See, now
number
this
16.
is like really creative with the photo, which I really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. I like that placement there. And I think it's a great way to present it.
They got the sunlight coming from the back, giving you a little shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's really
Next
well
entry.
done.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
Entry number 17.
Or no.
Love the placement.
Yeah. Very, very well done there.
Looks like Laguna to me, but it's hard to tell from a polished picture.
But
Yeah.
Next entry. Entry number 18.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking polka dot.
Yeah.
maybe.
Let's see all of them side by side.
Very
So your
nice.
choices for this group, entries 13 to 18, 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
Sean, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
10 seconds left.
Oh, why would I call the stuff that doesn't have boxes in it?
And time's up. Let us just tally the votes.
Very nicely done.
I think it's random, Jody.
It's just random selection when they're getting all the photos. No one is methodically putting these together.
That would be crazy.
None of us have the time, honestly, but and I think random is better.
Did you mop in here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, Tamara, I mean, there's just some great work here.
Yeah, I made a big mess with the sphere machine, so I mopped it up. But yeah, it did leave a ton of mud swirls everywhere.
Over in the sweeper.
Hey, at least did you see that I wiped down the sphere
Potentially,
machine?
yes. I think you could compete against yourself unless they are trying to not have your same name go into the same group.
I haven't
Hey.
seen anybody compete against themselves unless they get to the final round and they have more than one that places.
Yeah.
Because usually I can tell batches of photos because a lot of people use the same backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the votes are in and moving on to the next round for this group is entry number 17.
Oh, that's a great piece there, Vicky. A team like some of these comments capture this because we want to keep evolving this, get it better and better.
That is a good idea. Everybody should put in the chat just for fun how long they've been doing cabs. On and off, probably close to, for me, let's see, it's got to be close to like 16, 17 years now. I started when I was like a toddler.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not even close.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so this is the fourth group. This is entry
Wow.
number 19.
Ooh, that's a nice
Montana.
Montana or Brazilian?
Looks like a Montana to me.
Montana, the veiling.
Wow, that's
But
pretty.
cool.
Redskins also.
That's awesome that we got so many new people doing cabs.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the new people doing stuff. This is so good. And also the people have been doing it for a long time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is entry number 20.
Wow, that's
An
pretty.
unusual stone. I'm not sure what that is.
Me neither.
This is
Ooh.
entry number 21.
That is a
Agate.
it's a Sumatra agate.
Oh,
The banding's just a little bit different. That's killer pattern in it.
I love the neon greens.
I love the little hint of orange in there too.
Ooh.
That's
This
a
is entry
condor
number
ribbon
22.
crossing.
Yeah, you got that purple into the red.
Yeah. I love the turtle back. You can see this is done from the skin down, so you can see that skinning effect.
Yep.
See, this is another one where I actually think the sunlight is hurting it a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Deschutes or Biggs earring pair.
Mhm. Yeah. Nice.
Entry
Twins.
number 23.
Very symmetrical, done together.
Mm-hmm.
Polish on those.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And this is entry number 24.
I was gonna say carnelian, but I'm
I'll-
not sure.
I like the desert background.
Yeah.
And like the way they did this picture really makes it stand out and pop nicely.
Yeah. And the blue sky behind there is really nice.
So your choices for this group, entries 19 to 24, 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now. Ten seconds left.
It is hard to pick. There's a lot of good cabs up there to look at.
Time's up. We'll just tally the vote.
I'm wondering what material 20 is.
20? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Looks like a green version of calico sometimes a little bit.
I'm almost wondering if it's a serpentine with some yellow in there. Maybe it's got Epidoe in it. That's
That's great,
exciting.
Mark.
The polish on all of these is really good. You can see in the reflection that the polish on all of them is really nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I look at when I'm looking at these pictures is that reflection to see how good the polish is.
You know what Zeke said to about my first cab I ever made?
Boo how?
This. It was a humbling day.
That was a hard day of brutal honesty.
The first cab I ever made, made on a flat lap, so it was pretty good for what I had.
Yeah, you're fine working it
made
on
it.
flat lap. So that's all you had because all the cab machines would sell before we can ever even potentially
Oh.
get one.
I used to ask people if they wanted brutal honesty or if they wanted to walk away happy when people would ask me about their rocks.
Honestly, it doesn't have to be brutal. It can be empathetic and kind.
Well, it sounds empathetic to me, but the look on your face said otherwise. So apparently I need to work on that.
You made
Yeah,
it.
go read some more John Maxwell there. I think you need to get re-engaged in your Maxwell.
All right, the votes are in for this group, and moving on to the next round is entry number 21.
It's beautiful Sumatra agate.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fifth group.
You are. Judy's right. You are.
I don't know who that is.
This is entry number 25.
America's Got Talent, one of the judges who's extra mean. Lawrence is right.
I never thought I was a
That's
harsh
cool.
critic.
I don't know that material.
It's obsidian.
That's obsidian. Dang. That's cool.
It is cool.
Wow.
This is
Mm.
entry number 27.
Almost
I
looks
like
like Rosetta piece.
Maybe.
It's kind of hard to tell if it's Rosetta or crazy.
I
Yeah.
put more on crazy.
I agree
I like
with
the
you.
positioning of that pocket right there in the middle. That's great.
Well, the chromatography at the red.
Yeah. Oh,
Royal Imperial.
Yeah. Nice
Yeah.
orbs.
yeah.
Entry number 28.
As Sherman says, it's juicy.
Next entry.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
I
Oh,
like
look at
that.
the shadow on that.
29.
I was gonna say killer shadow in that piece.
Really
Nice.
great shadow there.
Dang.
And
Yeah,
the last
good.
entry for this group. Entry number 30.
Beautiful polka dot.
Oh,
Love the
yeah.
little threads floating in there.
Yep. Yep.
It's great dimension, good color contrast. I like the shape.
Here are all of them side by side. So for this group, your choices are 25 to 30. 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now. 5 seconds left. And time's up. We'll just tally the votes.
I do like seeing all your guys' work.
Really, really great work. This is inspiring, really inspiring.
Does it inspire you to give me time to cut some capture?
Well, if we can hire some more of the people to help you on some projects, then yes, that becomes more possible.
Yeah, so that's a no.
That would be a conditional yes.
Well, you know, your birthday's coming up. You could take time off for your birthday to be here cutting cabs.
I
Didn't
think
you
she's
tell
not going to be there.
No.
I told Tay that we're gonna officially mark time off on the calendar and then sneak in and cut rocks.
What do you mean sneak in? We live here.
Right? Well, pretty much.
I see you more than I see my family. I love it here though.
I see you way more than I see my family, but your family also works here, so.
I can't run away from mine. They follow me to work and home.
Yep.
Tough place to work. No, it's great here. I love
I
my
do love
farm.
working here. I mean, honestly, we wouldn't be here 100 hours a week if we didn't love being here.
Nah.
Yep.
All right. We have a winner for this round. And moving on to the semifinals, it's entry number 26.
What a beautiful cab.
This is our sixth group. Entry number 31.
Very interesting pseudomorph.
That's cool. I like the dimension a lot.
That is really, that's pretty.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
Utah septarian.
yep.
I love septarian.
Septarian nodule.
Reminds me of secretariat.
Secretarian. You're so funny.
Yeah.
Entry number 32. Next entry. Entry
Oh.
number
Ooh.
33.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was the Hornitas, but it's interesting. I'm not sure.
We both guessed Poppy.
That's true. We both did guess Poppy Jasper. That
Hmm,
looks like the
that's-
Australian crazy lace.
I like the Druzy pocket.
yeah.
Then we have entry number 35.
Beautiful
Mm.
moss.
That is a beautiful moss.
Sure.
And lastly, entry number 36.
Looks like one of the Wahi area, like the Sucker Creek.
Yep.
Let's see all of them side by side. So your choices for this group, entries number 31 to 36. Voting starts now.
It is a hard choice. A lot of beautiful cabs.
Mm-hmm.
Time is up.
We definitely need the Jeopardy music. Do, 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 while Darwin counts. I like the variety of materials we're seeing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really kind of surprises me actually that we're not seeing a lot of duplicate materials.
Well, there's
I
hundreds.
know, but there's there's a lot of really popular materials. Like some are really, really popular materials. That's why it
True.
surprises me that we really haven't seen many duplicates. It gets me excited that there's so many different varieties of materials out there that people are cutting so many unique things.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're 100% true.
All right, for this round, moving on is entry number 35. This is the next group.
There was a lot for the overall cabs. I think Darwin said there was like 56 or something different entries. So there's still
Ooh,
plenty of time, Patrick, to see yours.
that's a cool crazy lace. That's an interesting pattern.
You can see the polish is really good too in the reflection.
I like the shape.
Kabambi.
Yeah, that's
Is that Kabambi?
Yeah, that's Kabambi.
Yeah, it has the wider orbs. Gorgeous. Nice pinks and greens.
That makes me think that someone cut up one of those palm stones because we sold some palm stones that looked very similar to that.
Is that Laguna?
Mhm.
I'm not. That could actually be Crazy Lace too. I'm not sure.
Could be a mock.
It looks a little too purple in the center, but could be.
Could be
Yeah.
a rare one.
The wood is nice.
Oh yeah, those have a great polish.
Those ones look wet.
Yeah, really, really great.
I like the shapes. Some labradorite, I think.
Yeah, labradorite, good shape on
Yeah.
it. That's very interesting.
Ah, great flash.
I really like the way they cut it.
So salamaline.
The Lamaline.
Cut it really well too. You get that cool pooling effect.
Yeah,
Yep.
really nice. They get the reflections just right to see the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a hard one to photograph, I guarantee.
Ooh, some malachite.
Oh
Yep, cut
yeah.
nicely.
I like how it kind of looks like an open book.
Placement is good. Yeah, it does look like an open book. I was thinking like a leaf that's folded, but yeah,
Yep. Yep.
but I can definitely see the book look.
All right, so those are your choices for this group, 37 to 43. Voting starts now.
Sorry, I keep bullying you over. Is that better?
Did someone put all in the chat? It's going by so fast I couldn't tell. Don't spray me. Excuse you.
And time's up.
These are waterproof. Definitely a tough decision.
Mm-hmm. All these votes have been hard.
I know they have been hard.
Makes you think.
This is definitely the most entries we got. I'm excited. What are we going to do for our next competition?
I don't want to do tumbling.
Oh, we haven't done that yet. That'd be an interesting new category.
Because I know a lot of tumbling you can get eye agates, skinned agates.
That is a
A lot
really.
of potential.
Would you do one tumbled stone, or would you do batches, or would it matter? Could you show either?
You could do two entries, maybe.
All right, the votes are in, and moving on to the next round is entry number 42. This a Lomelin cab.
Yeah, that is a nice one.
You know, it would be.
We did. I did say we would do condors as a feature category as for
would
cut.
be a good thing to do. Skin daggets.
You know, we haven't done spheres yet either.
Oh, we need to do spheres. Ooh.
It's an
Mm.
interesting dendrite. That one needs to be backlit.
That's, yeah, I'm trying to see the veiling with red.
Mm, that's pretty.
Cal Sydney. Deep,
I was almost thinking it was a Botswana type.
maybe. It's a deep blue.
I don't know. I'm definitely would love to know what these cabs are.
I like how the photo was taken with the wood.
I agree. I like how they did the photo. That looks like a Imperial Jasper.
Yeah.
I think it's Imperial. Look at that blue to the green.
You're right. You're right. I shouldn't contradict the cab master.
Cab master. Oh gosh. I would not call myself a cab master. Nice serpentine.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen green opal.
I have seen green opal, but the pyrite in there makes me think serpentine, not opal.
Again, the cab master, he knows. Oh, that's gorgeous. Love
That
it.
is
That's
beautiful.
pretty.
Nice shadowkite.
Pretty
Chrysocolla. I like that you
Yeah.
can see the little crystal sprays in it.
round cab. Perfect, Ruben.
You know, doing a perfect round cab is not easy.
I know. Ooh, we got some leopard.
Unless you
skin.
have a shaping machine,
Well, yeah, unless you have a shaping machine.
I
then
like the pattern.
then it becomes
Like
easy.
the shape.
There's a lot of things that are a lot easier with the shaping machine.
Yep.
That almost looks
that's
like Tiffany
nice.
stone.
A little bit of a purple on the
Although it
top.
could be a piece of Idaho sunset too, actually.
I was thinking it could be Idaho's sunset.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is Idaho's with the flame.
Oh, nice.
All right, those are your choices for the eighth group, 44 to 50. Voting starts now. Time's up.
What? All right.
That is a good shape. And you can see it's got a good polish in the reflection.
You know what band was recommended to me recently?
What band?
A band called Dogtooth Calcite.
Huh, that's funny.
It's on TikTok.
Are they a rock band?
You know, that would be funny. It's an indie band, but that would be funny. Sherman, we got your new band idea.
I'm not sure if I'm that excited about that idea.
All right.
You don't want to start a rock band?
I'm starting a band, but it will not be. It'll be a band John and I'll do.
I'm only alive because of Sherman's band.
All right, so from this group, moving on to the next round is entry number 48. And this is our last group.
Oh, interesting. That's very surprising, Michael.
Ooh, that's a nice Laguna.
I actually was thinking Crazy Lakes, but you're right. That could be Laguna. That's very pretty.
Look at the little
Yeah.
dots. in the banding.
Great banding. You can see it's got the nice shadow in it.
Yeah.
That looks like a composite of opal, but I can't quite tell.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's cool.
Great.
Yeah, it does have nice
It's
contrast.
hard to work with.
That's another obsidian.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Great polish. That's a great.
Definitely crazy lights there.
I like how you captured the banding there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty.
I like the little mountain in it.
Oh.
The little
Mhm.
tendrils coming off.
That reminds
Yeah.
me of Berber.
Really fine detail.
Is that a Berber?
I don't think it's a Berber.
I was looking at the pink up top
Uh,
with the gray banding.
piece of
That
tortilla.
tortilla,
Yeah.
tortilla.
Yes, it's tortilla.
Tortella, yeah, that's cool.
Fossil. Ooh, a piece of malachite
I like the
Yeah.
eye right in the middle, and you can see the polish is really good.
with a little dot.
Yeah.
All right, so these
Another
are your
very hard
choices
decision.
I like the
for the
reports.
ninth group. Sorry, go ahead, Day.
Oh no, sorry. Ignore what I.
Go ahead, Darwin.
All right, 51 to 57. Vote. People are already voting. 30 seconds.
I do like the background, different backgrounds people chose.
All right, time's up.
This is actually really good to show like good backgrounds for people to how to take cabs.
But before you walked in, we were talking about that. Like, if you're selling your cab, you can see that the photo makes a huge difference. Is this the last category?
Yep, this is the last group.
We'll have to check on that, Patrick. There are beautiful cabs up there. I just really enjoy seeing all the beautiful stuff you guys are making.
Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous.
All right, so we have the winner from that group, and it's entry number 53. Okay,
It was which one?
53.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear. Although it might be my congestion. And bear with
Yes.
us while we put together the next round. I know the team is working hard on that. It's not something they can really prepare for beforehand because it's
Right.
voted.
They're
So
they're assembling the photos into a slide that we can then show.
yes.
But this is what I was talking about. Zeke.
That just looks like Cold Mountain Jasper.
Yeah.
I think that's just a
What's
rename.
Cold Mountain?
I don't know. 53 is I think it's Fire Obsidian. I can't remember if that's what they call it. It's definitely Obsidian. I just can't remember if that's what they call Fire Obsidian or if it has one of the other names.
I think it may be. They're both from Mexico.
I think it's just Cold Mountain Jasper that
Has been renamed.
they renamed, yeah. I am curious what 51 is, if that's a Laguna or one of the other really pretty agates. Because I've seen Crazy Lace that's that good too. But my initial thought was Crazy Lace, but then when you said Laguna, I was like, oh, it could be Laguna.
All right, we're ready for the second round of voting. So we grouped the winners, the 9 winners, into 3 groups. So the winners of groups 1 to 3 will go to group 1, and so on and so forth. So, and the winners from this round will move on to the final round of voting to determine placement. All right, let's take a look at the first group of semi-finalists.
For the semifinals, Group 1. Good contrast between the red and the blue.
It's entry number 1, entry number 12,
I love the combination of tubes and fortifications.
and last semi-finalist for this group, entry number 70.
My brain goes Laguna, but it kind of feels like a mix between a Laguna and a Condor because of the purple.
I still think Laguna.
You know what I'm talking about, though? The browns or the purples.
Yeah, the outer band almost looks like Parcellus.
All right, you guys can vote now, 30 seconds.
Material number 1 looks like azurite with cuprite in it, possibly some shattuckite. But I don't know who cut it or where it's from for sure, so that's just a guess.
All right, time is up.
I am impressed with how many beautiful cabs. You can tell you guys are doing a good job because it's very hard to choose.
All right, so moving on to the final round of voting is entry number 12.
Awesome. Congratulations to the semifinals.
Hmm.
This is our second group of semi-finalists.
Nice Sumatra
Entry
agate.
number 21. Entry number 26. And entry number 35.
I'm curious how they got the cab to stand up that well.
Right?
So those are your second set of semifinalists. Voting starts now.
Me and Zeke are being a little quiet to be as unbiased as possible. We don't want to sway votes or anything. Museum gel.
All right, time's up.
That's a good idea.
All righty. So moving on to the final round for this group is entry number 21.
All right.
It is very hard.
For the last group of semifinalists, we have entry number 42.
Salam.
Next up is entry number 48. And last but not least is entry number 53. Here are your three semifinalists side by side. 30 seconds to vote. Voting starts now.
I am so glad Darwin is the one keeping track of this. Watching the votes fly in, I'm like, whew, I'd never be able to keep track of this. Well, you know what's funny is Darwin was telling
And
me about
time's
the
up.
polling function, and I was like, I don't know. It'd probably be easier to just put it in the chat. So that's probably a my fault thing, I think.
Yeah, we're going to use polling moving forward.
All right, so our last finalist from this group is entry number 53. So let's just put together the final slide for the final round of voting. Just a couple of minutes.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I figured I didn't know how to use the polling function, which means a lot of people probably aren't going to be used to using it. So I figured this would be easier just to put it in the chat. It does make it harder for the team though.
I will say I've used it for school before.
It's just I know a lot of people haven't used it before. I think I've used it once when I was in high school.
It's pretty straightforward, but you have to like we'd have to figure out how to make sure everyone gets the pop-ups because from when I used it, not everyone would get it in class
Mm.
and they wouldn't be able to vote. So we'd have to figure that
We'll
out.
have to test it. I just knew we could make this work for today.
All right, we're ready for our final round of voting. So here are your three finalists. First finalist is entry number 12.
So this is the final vote.
Next finalist, entry number 21.
Definitely going to be a hard round to choose.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
our
Hard.
last finalist, entry 53. So those are your three finalists. Here are them side by side. Final vote starts now.
Yeah, 53 is Fire Obsidian. And then 21 is Sumatra Agate, and 12 is Crazy Lace.
All right, time's up. Let's just do our final tally.
Yeah, these are all beautiful cabs.
Gorgeous
Top notch.
work.
I haven't seen a bad cab tonight.
No kidding. Well, see, when I was a kid, and probably why I am a harsh judge, is because I'd go to shows and look at like top world-class cutters, and then I'd compare my cabs and be like, all right, what can I do to get closer to that? Like, how do I get that top polish? Because it would bother me if mine wasn't just like glowingly good. And so this like looking at these inspires me to go get an agate to that like just mirror finish where it just looks like it's glowing wet. Like it's not an easy thing to get any of these cabs to this level of polish.
All right, so we have our winners. In third place is entry number 21. And that cab is from Carl Pepka.
Awesome,
Congratulations, Carl.
Congratulations.
In second place is entry number 12. And that cab is from Ryan Bolin.
Congratulations,
Congratulations,
Ryan.
Ryan. And our grand winner for the best overall cab category is entry number 53, which is a cab made by Kevin J. Hall.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Beautiful work.
Did fantastic.
Yes, very well done.
Thank you,
Congratulations,
everyone.
everyone.
Very good
Definitely
job.
inspiring there.
Well, hopefully that puts everybody in the mood to go make something beautiful.
Mhm.
And
Where are you, Zeke? You're not in the camera. There you are.
He's been sitting far away from me.
yeah, just sitting over here.
Yeah.
And well, I think we should decide or vote on what we want to do our next competition on. I'm thinking spheres and tumbled stones should be one of the next ones. Because I like mixing it up, because not everybody makes the same things. So I like mixing it up a little bit. Honestly, we could do spheres and tumbled stones as the next competition. Do best overall tumbled batch or tumbled stone. It could be a batch or singular, and best overall sphere. What do you guys think
Yeah.
of that?
I think that would be good because a lot of people do tumbled rock, but not as many people, as Jody said, do spheres. So it lets people participate in one
And
or the other.
you don't have to have a sphere machine to make a sphere. You can make a sphere on a CAD machine. So I mean, I think we should do both personally. I think we should do both at the same time because I think that's going to be a little bit more niche category for both actually. So I think we should do for the next one, we'll do a category for spheres and for tumbled stones on the same night. Is everybody good with that? Yes, Sherman, the giveaways were announced before what we were giving away was announced before we did
Okay,
the
good.
photos.
Okay, good.
All right, how far into the future do we need to do that? How long does everybody need to go make their best sphere and tumbled stones?
You put it in the chat.
We probably need to do it a month away because if you got a great batch of rock that you want to tumble, you're going to need a month if you got a rotary tumbler.
True. Sphere 1 to 2 years.
Well, I think 1 year away, we'll probably do spheres again by then, so.
I have to see my school schedule coming up. Fit it in.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we should do about a month from now, Darwin. We should do the next competition with those categories because that'll give everybody a month to tumble their batch of stones if they have a batch that they're like, this is going to be the winning batch. And everybody, I want you to take a little mental note of the pictures people took because the pictures does make a big difference. So take a note of those pictures and plan accordingly for your next one. Yeah, 6 weeks is probably perfect, Ed. Because the picture does make a difference. And if you guys are selling stuff, like if you're online trying to sell stuff, your picture is going to make a huge difference. So it's actually a little bit of training to help you guys get to where you need to be to sell online if that's what you're doing. So I think that does make a huge difference, and you guys should plan for that as well. Well, awesome. That was fun, and congratulations to the winners. And we will see y'all tomorrow night for some awesome rough rock.
That's true.
All right.
All righty. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. We love reading them.
Yes, we do.
And everyone have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you again tomorrow at the Rough Rock live sale. Good night, take care, and bye-bye.